Walking down these empty streets, echoes of the past I meet. Lost and wandering for so long, searching for where I belong. Sunrise breaking through the night, guiding me back to the light. Every step feels like a prayer, promises hang in the air. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease. Memories of laughter and tears, answers to my deepest fears. In these walls I find my truth, washing away the years. Ruth, oh, the road was long and rough, but my spirit's had enough. Here in the sanctuary, healing feels extraordinary. Come back home, heal your heart, where the love never parts. Come back home, find your peace. In this place, your pain will cease.
Yo, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Let me see who's in the chat already. Goodness gracious. Good morning, Jess Clark. Good morning, my friend. Xavier, good morning, my brother. Yo, Xavier, let me say this before I even get into the show. Today, we got a great show, y'all. Today, we're talking about 5 ways to guard your heart and the necessity of guarding your heart. We're going to get into it deep today. We're going to have some deep conversations. But Xavier, let me tell you something, bro. You're in the building. You know, we have Relationship Fridays every Friday where we join the Dear Brother and Dear Sister podcast. And let me say that before I begin, too. Today, we're on the Dear Brother and Dear Sister podcast. I thought this was a good conversation for all of us to be a part of. So we're streaming live this morning, guys, on both YouTube channels, the Dear Brother and the Dear Sister podcast. So we're on it. Good morning, Chantel. Good morning, my sister. Good morning. So again, I thought this topic this morning was great for both podcasts. So we're streaming to Dear Sister and Dear Brother this morning. All right. Xavier, man, last week you were the prompt. Every Friday we have Relationship Friday. And last Friday you came up with the topic for Relationship Friday. And then we went in on that relationship talk. If anybody has any ideas for Relationship Friday, you can put it in the chat today. And I'll keep on saying that throughout the show, because I'll let you guys pick the topics for Relationship Fridays, okay? Relationship Fridays are in your hands. That's when I stream to both stations again, both channels, Dear Brother and Dear Sister podcast. And so y'all throw it in the chat. If you got any ideas or topics that you want to talk about for Relationship Fridays, I'm going to put that on y'all out there in the internet world. And y'all give me the topic and we'll go at it. So anytime throughout the show you think of a topic that you really want to discuss or want me to discuss with the crew, and we have a conversation about it for Friday, Relationship Fridays, drop it in the chat and we'll go at it. All right. But good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dear Brother and this Dear Sister podcast this morning. And we are talking about how to guard your heart. 5 lessons about how you should guard your heart. Let's talk a little bit before I get into the show. Anybody in here, what's it mean to guard your heart, and have you ever had to do it? Or do you wish you had? Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk before we get into the show. Have you ever had to guard your heart? Why did you have to do it? Were you in a situation where you had to guard your heart? Let's talk a little bit this morning. Let me know. What's it feel like to have to guard your heart? If you ever been there, let me know what that's like to have to guard your heart. Let's talk a little bit. But we'll get into it. I got some teaching points this morning that I want to get into, some very, very good discussion points that we can get into. And I think that I know that we will have a great show today. All right. Let me see. Okay. Chantel, you said you wish you had. You wish you had. You wish you had. You know, why don't we guard our hearts? What makes us jump in? That was really bad. Goodness gracious, I couldn't even hide my face on that. I'm drinking vinegar, hot water, lemon, and honey. It's very, very good for you, but it's rough sometimes. Why is it that we don't guard our hearts, y'all? What is it about us that makes us not guard our hearts? What is that? What is it that makes us not guard? Do we? I know we care about ourselves, or do we? You know, sometimes maybe that's the factor. Sometimes maybe that's the factor that we don't care about ourselves as much as we think we do, or we don't care about ourselves as much as we believe we do. You know, sometimes that's the issue in our lives. Why aren't we guarding our hearts? Has anybody in the room ever had their heart broken? Anybody ever went through heartbreak? You know, that's part of it. Let me know. Jump in the chat. You ever had your heart broken before? I know I have. Right? And usually heartbreak comes from expectations. Right? Heartbreak comes from expectations that will never be fulfilled. Right? Sometimes we can expect more from people than they'll ever give us. Let me see, Xavier. I have guarded my heart many times. You have guarded your heart many times. Absolutely. And I think that a lot of times we don't guard our hearts, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of times we don't guard our hearts, right? And sometimes the reason why I thought this was a great message for both is because in a lot of situations, we talk to ladies about guarding their hearts. We don't talk to men about guarding their hearts. We don't talk a lot to men about guarding their hearts. You don't even have an answer. See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of times it's deeply emotional. Let's get into the show. Let's get into it, and we'll keep on chatting. But let's talk about the definition of guarding. What did guarding your heart even mean? To guard your heart means to protect your inner self, right? To protect your inner self as much as we protect our outer self. If someone was coming to try to harm us in any way, we protect our outer self. I wonder, or maybe I should make the statement. I don't think enough people guard their inner self as much as they guard their outer self. If someone came to hit you, if someone came to harm you in any way, you would guard yourself. You would get ready to protect yourself. But in a lot of situations, we don't guard our inner self as much as we guard our outer self. Why do you think that? Why? What is it in us as men and women? Again, good morning, everybody that's coming into the room. We're streaming live from the Dear Sister podcast on YouTube and the Dear Brother podcast. I thought this would be a good crossover conversation. We're talking about guarding our hearts today. And the question I have on the table is, why don't we guard our hearts like we guard our outside? If somebody came to knock me out right now, I would guard my chin, right? Why don't we guard our inside as much as we guard our outside? Are we easily emotionally manipulated? Let's talk today. Let's get into it. I got some teaching points, but I think that the biggest lessons come from our conversations, right? Throw it in the chat. YouTube, Facebook, throw it in the chat. You know, why don't we guard our hearts as much as we guard our inner, guard our hearts as much as we guard our outer body? If someone tried to hurt us outside, let me see. Yes, yeah. See, this is the thing. We don't, because I don't think that we value our inner health as much as we value our outer health. I think that's the answer. I think that we don't guard our inner health as much as we guard our outer health. Why don't we think that's as important? Because really, your life flows from in here. It doesn't flow from outside. I think a lot of times we worry about our outside is because our outside, we're worried about what people think we look like, right? We're worried about what we image. See, outside is all about image, what I look like to people. And a lot of times I think we're too stuck on what we look like to people. And this world is all about image. People can be broke down, but if they drive a nice car, right? If we live in a nice home, we think as if that covers the pain that we carry. And it doesn't. It doesn't. There's a lot of very wealthy, heartbroken people. There's a lot of married, heartbroken people. There's a lot of heartbroken parents. There's a lot of heartbreak in the dating scene. You see? And what we see in this world, a lot of times you see violence in it. Really, you're seeing heartbreak. I believe personally, my father died of heartbreak. I believe that, right? There are some people that die of heartbreak. I watched my father do it. He went through something and he never felt valued. There was always something in him that never felt valued. And at a certain point, you can see where he started to give up on himself. And my father wasn't old and sickly. He was 59 where he died. But he was a Vietnam vet. He had been through a lot. He had been harmed, right? As a police officer, he was a narcotics cop. My dad went through a whole lot. And I think as an older black man in that time, he couldn't find personal value. And I watched my father begin to give up. As strong as he was, I watched my father begin to give up because he couldn't find what felt like his place. You understand? I believe he died of a broken heart. I believe a lot of people do, right? There's a lot of people. When someone takes themselves off the earth, y'all know what that means. I can't say it on YouTube, but y'all know when somebody takes their self off the earth, you know, we look and we say, okay, well, that's what they're going through. There's a lot of people that will never harm themselves physically, but they're dying every day of a disease called a broken heart, right? Of what they couldn't become or what people don't see them as. There's a lot of you right now watching me that have a broken heart because your inner self is broken, right? When you guard your heart, it means you protect your inner self. It means you protect your thoughts, your emotions, your values, your desires. These are all the things that flow from within. And I don't think we do a good job at, at protecting it. I have a long show today, so I don't have to rush. Let me look in the chat. Good morning, Nia. Good morning, my sister. Good morning, fam. Let me see. Nia's in the building. Good morning. Good morning. Ron McGee is in the building. Good morning, my brother. Good morning. Let me see. Adrian Bay, unhealed trauma. Trying to fill a void and a lack of self-worth. Let's get into it. Again, we're streaming live from the Dear Brother and the Dear Sister podcast. We have the ladies and the gentlemen in the building. We can get into this today. And let me throw this in before I even begin. I think that even relationally, this is not Relationship Friday, but this is Thursday and we'll talk anyway. I think relationally, how many of us walk into relationships, right? We come into a fresh relationship without a guarded heart and wind up hurt because we good day, my friend. Good day. I'm so glad to see y'all in here today. You on the plane. Y'all are amazing people. I love this community so much. We're streaming again. We're streaming live from the Dear Brother and Dear Sister podcast. We're also on Facebook this morning, and we're talking about 5 powerful lessons about how you should guard your heart. Right? We don't guard our heart much. Let's get into it right quick. So let's talk about these points, right? There is above all things, you should guard your heart. Why? Because the heart is the source of life. And the heart, not just life blood, but the heart is the source of your life decisions. You make decisions from here. You make decisions from right here, right? You make decisions from right here. And if you have an unguarded heart and that heart gets broken, you'll find that you'll make decisions you'll begin to regret. And you'll wonder, how in the world did I get to the place where I made that decision? You made it because you made it from an unguarded heart. Again, we walk into relationships unguarded heart. Now, some people say, why should I be in a relationship guarded? You got to be. Why? Because I value myself enough to not let someone break me. You understand? A lot of times we allow our need for love, our need for companionship, our need for company. A lot of times we'll walk in somewhere without a guarded heart because we let our need overshadow what we should really deserve. Right? And I think there's some people in this room that know what that is. Your need can be so strong sometimes, you will ignore the rest that comes with that need. You'll ignore the violence that you might go through. You ignore the bad relationship because a lot of times your need, you can never understand this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't allow your need to supersede what you deserve. Don't allow your needs to supersede what you deserve. Right? I did that in marriage. Right? I married because I was serving the world. I had such a need for love. Right? Let me just give y'all know I'm vulnerable in here. That's the only way to help y'all is to be very vulnerable. Right? I got married because I had a need for love. Because I had spent my life serving the world, teaching the world, traveling throughout all these different countries, speaking and teaching. And guess what? I was giving out my love to the world. Right. And I understood this. When people in the world, they wanted my gift to teach, my gift to see into their lives, my gift. Right. And when people want your gift, that's all they want of you. And usually a person that's a giver, like many of you, you're a giver. You don't really pay attention to what you need. And then one day you wake up and say, "Man, I'm really lonely. I'm really tired. I really need someone to love me." And when you're in that place of need of love, I went and got married to someone who seemed like they would love me, but my need to be loved ignored that they couldn't do it. Has anybody ever been there? Have you ever been in a situation where your need for love, company, and companionship blinded you from the fact that the person you wanted from doesn't even have it to give? Or your desire makes you see something in a person that's not even there. That's how deep need is. Need will make you look at a person who cannot meet your expectations and you still try it out because your need for that is bigger than their ability to give it to you. Absolutely. There's some people you got to let off the hook because your desires was bigger than what they could give you. Understand this, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of times we're not hurt by the people. We blame the people that hurt us. And in all reality, what really hurt you was your expectation of someone who didn't have it to give. I'm telling you, a lot of y'all need to really let a lot of people off the hook because you tried to get water from a rock and it was never there. You tried to get water from a rock. It was never there. Understand this. Right? We like to blame. That's why I like to have my dear brother and this is the podcast sometime. I felt led to do it this morning. Right? We like to blame each other. We like to blame everybody who hurt us. Oh, you hurt me when I was 10 and you hurt me when I was 12 and you hurt me. My first love hurt me and my ex-husband hurt me or my ex-wife. We go through all that. And really what really hurt you was that you allowed your need to blind you from the fact that the person could not fulfill your need. It's not their fault, ladies and gentlemen. It's because we walk around with an unguarded heart. Oh, I feel like teaching y'all this morning. We walk around with an unguarded heart. Let me get into this chat and see who's in the building this morning. Let me see. Yes, I know many die from a broken heart. Yes, you know some people too. Absolutely. Absolutely. A broken heart. The heart is very powerful. The heart is very powerful. Let me see. Good morning, Yolanda, my sister. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see. CJ. Yes, I have been there. And was blinded by my need. And I got out of that marriage after 3 years. Me too. Me too. I've been there. I was so blinded by loneliness. I was so blinded by the world depended on me and I needed to depend on somebody. I needed to depend on somebody. I had no one to depend on. All those years I was out there traveling and teaching, going all around. You understand? Being on 18-hour flights and 20-hour flights and all these things. I was serving the world and I needed somebody. And my need blinded me and I hurt myself. Yeah, I had to escape my marriage. It wasn't, I had to escape from my life. And I want to say this openly. We talk a lot about abusive relationships. We talk a lot about that. And a lot of times we automatically believe that the man or men push this abusive agenda. Don't fool yourselves. There are a lot of very abusive women in this world that will grind a man down to powder if she can. I married one of those, right? Her pain couldn't stand my strength. And in her pain, she didn't want me to be strong. Oh man, we're going to talk today. Listen, brothers, there's a lot of women who want your strength until it makes her feel less of herself. Don't be fooled. See, we got to balance out this conversation. Because many times it's about the men tearing down women. A woman will tear a man all the way down, especially if she's intimidated by his strength. A lot of broken women want her man broken. I've been through that experience myself. I had to escape with my life because I would have died. I would have died for love or what I thought was love. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Me too. I married to fill a void of need for love. Or validation from a man due to my father not being present in my life. Now, Adrian, so brave to say, sister. So brave to say. And you know what? It's easy to talk about exes, right? And I'm not saying you're doing this, but I'm just giving a blanket point. It's easy to talk about exes. But I think the question that none of us ask, men or women, when you're looking for somebody to blame, then you'll never see you as part of the seed of your own problems. Right? I could tell you everything my ex was horrible and she did. Guess what? She didn't force her way into my life. I'm gonna make that as short. Huh? Y'all hear me? We can talk about horrible exes all day. That ex did not force their way in your life. Somewhere you were unguarded, you allowed it, and it's easy to blame them instead of taking responsibility for the fact that you allowed them in because your need blinded you from their brokenness. Let me see. Very good. Let me see. Wow, for many years, I walked around with an unguarded heart. Absolutely. I finally got it in my 50s. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, I would listen. I didn't get healed until my 40s. I'll be 45 this year. Right? I didn't really get healed until I was about 40, 43. Right? All right, let's get back into this. Let's dive deeper into this, okay? See, so if my heart if my heart is the compass for my decisions, then why shouldn't I guard it? Right? I should guard that heart because then I'll make all kinds of decisions that were broken decisions because your heart wasn't guarded, right? That is very important. See, your heart guides your thoughts, your heart guides your desires. You ever have anybody in the room ever experienced having a desire, right? But that desire was no good for you. Or the desire brings temporary feeling. That's what the unguarded heart does. It's just looking for something temporary, something to feel good in the moment. But this is the problem. Many times the moment might cost you 10 or 15 years. Y'all hear me? A lot of times the moment you're looking for to satisfy that instant gratification could cost you years of your life. Right? This is a vulnerable show. So listen, this is what we do. This is what we do. We talk vulnerably because we need people healed. We need people healed. And that's why I don't mind speaking to you this way, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because because we gotta guard. We need someone to tell us to guard our heart. A lot of you don't even feel valuable enough to guard yourself, or you believe you can love. Your love is big enough to change someone else. And we're not just talking about relationship. We talking about family members. You feel like your love is enough to change people. You're walking around with an unguarded heart. See, don't think that your need to love should make you walk around unguarded. No. You can love someone and still guard your heart. Come on. You can love yourself and still guard your heart. Because bad decisions that come from heart, it wastes a lot of your time. Come on, y'all. It wastes a lot of your time. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button right now. If you're on Facebook, head over to either the Dear Sister or Dear Brother podcast and hit that like button for me. If you hit that like button, it tells YouTube we have something good going on over here. If you think we got something good over here, hit the like button. Let other people know it's good. And if you're on Facebook right now, why don't you go over to subscribe to either the Dear Brother or Dear Sister podcast, because that helps our channel grow and it helps us reach more people. All right. All right. Number 2. Guard your heart. Guarding your heart protects your identity. Uh-oh. Christian, what you talking about? Guarding your heart protects your identity. You know how many people you've become? Think about it. Think about it. And I feel led to really drive that. Think about it. Someone needs to hear that this morning. Think about it. Because this is let me hit right here. A lot of us don't think enough about ourselves. And when you do, you're thinking the negative. You're thinking about what you could do better, what you can become. No, sometimes you just need to think about how valuable you are. Stop thinking about what you got to fix all the time, right? Many of our lives are consumed with what we got to fix, what we got to change, what we got to be better at. No, sometimes you need to celebrate your awesomeness and guard that. Many times we walk around unguarded because we haven't assessed our value enough. When you assess the value of a thing, you know what you say? Let me guard this. Y'all feel me? Let me guard this because I see the value. You guard what you see as valuable. How many times have you not seen yourself valuable enough to guard? You guard your jewelry better than you do your heart. You guard your car better than you do your heart. You guard your bank account better than you do your heart. You have not paid enough attention to you. Like many of us, we get sucked into this society that says, be more focused on how you look to people than how you feel inside. Guard your heart, protects your identity. It protects you from becoming 1,000 different people to please 1,000 different people. Do you know a lot of times that's the gateway to mental illness? When you live a life trying to guard everybody else's feelings, trying to make everybody else feel good, it is easy to lose yourself in the satisfaction game. Oh, y'all come with me today. We got some time. I don't care if this show is 3 hours, man. I know there's some people watching me right now and will watch this later that says, damn it, I never truly guarded my heart. And later on, I'm gonna share something. I'm gonna share a chart with y'all about the guarded heart versus the unguarded heart. And when I start to look at this, there's a lot of times where you start to see where there's places where you really walked around with no guard around your inner man at all. And the question is, why do we do that? Let me look at the chat. Let me see who's in the building this morning. All right, Nia, have a great day, my sister. Thanks for jumping on with us this morning. Let me see. Chantel B, I know how to love, but I can openly say I don't know what it is to truly be loved. Yes. And for all the new people coming in, we're streaming live right now on the Dear Sister podcast and the Dear Brother podcast. This topic today I thought would be good for all the brothers and sisters. We can get in and have a conversation together about what this is about. All right. I know how to love, but I can openly say I don't know what it is to truly be loved. I didn't know either. I didn't know how to receive. I think to this day, I still don't know how to receive. I built my life on giving. Sometimes I still don't know how to receive. And guess what? Receiving is a part of love. So are you fully loving if you can't receive? I just challenged the hell out of myself just now. Right? Are you really loving if you don't know how to receive? See, a lot of us hide behind that. Oh, I know how to love. I know how to love. I don't know how to receive love. Well, are you really loving if you don't know how to receive love? If you don't let that person love you back, then is it really love? Let me see. I too began healing in my 40s, after my divorce. I was truly dying in that marriage. It cost me 17 years. See, this is the thing about the guarded heart, y'all. This is the biggest, strongest point about the guarded heart. You will enter a situation and lose 10, 15, 20 years, and you'll look up and say, where did those years go? That's how dangerous the guarded heart is, because the guarded heart not only will make an unguarded heart will not only help you make a bad decision, but an unguarded heart will also make you justify that decision. And that's how you wind up in a place all these years later. And you're saying, damn, this started in 92. It's almost 2025 and you're still stuck there. It's a tough place to be because your heart, that unguarded heart, helps you justify bad decisions. Let me see. Love this. Assess your value. Absolutely. You got to assess your value. You have to. Yolanda Smith, good morning, my sister. I was a people pleaser, for many years. God set me free. We need to be delivered from people. Yes, this is the thing. Yes. But you know what? Let me put your comment back up because I want to address something you said. We need to be delivered from people. Yolanda, you got to deliver yourself from people. You got to deliver yourself from people. You take your life back one no at a time. Listen, understand this. If you're a giver, there's always a taker ready to take everything you got. You understand? If you're a giver, there's always a taker ready to take everything you have. And again, the powerful thing about this show this morning is we're not leaning on blaming people. We are discovering that perhaps we were walking around with an unguarded heart. That's what we're looking at today, and why we had an unguarded heart. That's the biggest point. Let me see. Xavier, what does letting someone love you look like? Oh, great question. Great question. Great question. What does letting someone love you look like? Service. Service. Allowing someone to serve you like you would serve them and not feeling guilty. See, that's the thing. Letting someone love you means you're not guilty while somebody's trying to love you. You don't feel bad about it. I'm telling you, I still live there. I have a wonderful woman in my life, wonderful woman. And she always asks me, Christian, you need anything? Hey, no, I don't need nothing. That's my first go-to. No, I don't need nothing. Right? I don't even think whether I need something. I want to say, I want y'all to slow down. I want y'all to slow down and peep this, right? Here I am. I could have a need, right? But when she asks me, do you need anything? I don't think about the question. The first thing I say is no. Because I don't know how to receive love, the first thing I do is I push it. I don't want to burden her. That's what it is. I feel like my needs burden people. As much as I'm a giver, that usually that's the brokenness in a giver's mind, right? You give so much that you think that asking somebody for something is a burden on them, and you don't want to burden anybody. Understand this. That's not. A lot of times we pat ourselves on the back. Oh, I don't take anything from anybody. No, that means you never experienced the fullness of love. That's broken. That's broken. See, what did I just tell you? The unguarded heart will help you justify something crazy. And I just giving y'all an example of how I've justified how just telling everybody, no, I don't need nothing. I don't need nothing. I could be broke as ever. And somebody say, here goes, no, I'm good. Right? So letting someone love you is allowing them to see you and serve you, and without you feeling guilty about it. Y'all hear me? Allowing someone to love you is allowing someone to see you and serve you without you feeling guilty about it. I love this today. Great question, man. Great question. Ron McGee, that's me 100%. No, I'm good. That's all of us guys. That's the guy curse, y'all. That's why I like to have the ladies in here. See, that's the guy curse. That's the guy curse. What Ron is talking about. No, I'm good. Right? And gentlemen, I want some of you gentlemen to jump in the chat. Let's inform the ladies of our own brokenness. See, that's why I love this podcast, because we're not in here like all these other podcasts warring and beefing. We're here for understanding. We're looking to understand each other. Gentlemen, jump in the chat right now and let's start to educate these ladies on why we always say, no, I'm good. Right? I don't want to just address it as the podcaster, as in the conversation. Some of you gentlemen that got the "no, I'm good" curse upon you, because I know I have it upon me. What is that in us? Is it pride? Is it our pride? What is it? What is it? Is it our pride? Hey, ladies, I'm gonna put y'all on to something. I'm gonna break a little guide code and put y'all on to something. Sometimes a man won't take anything from you because his plan is to leave you. Ooh. Come on, let's talk. Ladies, there are some men, not all men, there are some men who don't know how to receive because they're givers. There's other men who don't want to receive your love so he can always escape your love without feeling guilty about it. Oh, buddy boy. Ooh, we talking now. Mm-hmm. And I would not move on without saying I believe there's some ladies too that will also not really want to receive love from a good man. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, ladies, whether y'all want to admit it or not, a lot of y'all like a man who's less than a man, so you can control him, or so you can guard. You feel like you're guarding your heart by getting with a less than man, so you can always be in control of the situation. What are you talking about, Christian? A lot of times, you ladies who have been broken before, what being broken for a woman feels like is she didn't have control. Right? So if a man you really loved and cared about broke your heart, a lot of you will move on in a way that says, you know what, no one will ever break my heart again. So I'll always get a man I can control. Y'all don't want to admit it. I'll admit it for you. I'll admit it for you. Let me see. Ron McGee in the building. A lot of times, what I really want is a tight hug, or back rub, or just feeling of reciprocity, A lot of effort is left on men, and women get to decide whether they want to. Woo. I'm gonna leave that up there. I'm gonna leave that up there. Ladies, what y'all think? What y'all think? Huh? Let me go. I'll come back to that strong point. I'll read it again. Yolanda Smith, I lost 23 years by marrying a person out of. Yes. And I'm gonna tell y'all. For me, this is what I'm saying. When you're dealing with certain people, you have to decide. Listen, a person who's using you will never decide to stop using you. That decision is always on you. That decision is never on them. You understand? You have to love you enough, or you have to say, you know what, I've walked around unguarded and I'm going to guard me better. Let me tell y'all story time. I was on dialysis. I was on dialysis Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I believe, or Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I was on dialysis. Back in I was on 2.5 years, from 2017, 2019, something like that. And I was married. And I remember my wife at the time calling me, going off on me about something. I don't even know what it was, right? Or just, I don't know. It was very, and telling me I didn't do this. And now I'm on dialysis. I'm pastoring full time, 2 churches. I'm paying every bill we have. And I'm on dialysis while I'm doing all this, taking care of my kids, taking care of the churches, still traveling and teaching on dialysis. And my wife was calling me, going off about something crazy, yelling at me at what I'm not and what I didn't do and this and that. And that was the day I sat back while she was yelling. The dialysis needles went in this arm, right? The dialysis needles went where they at? Went right here. Right? That's why I messed up my tattoo right there. That's why I had dialysis needles go in. And while she was yelling and screaming, I had the cords hanging out my arm, and they were very big and full of blood. And I'm looking at my arm. I lift my arm while she's screaming. And I said, I'm on dialysis, and I'm allowing someone to scream and yell at me and tell me what I'm not while I'm taking care of everything, while I'm sick as a dog and halfway dying. That's the day I decided I'm divorcing this human being. Because what I realized in that moment, not that she was this and she was that and she was that. I realized you are unguarded. You are unguarded. You are sitting on a dialysis machine dying, letting someone treat you like trash. That's the day I woke up and said, it's no way. It's no way. And that's the day I decided to divorce. In fact, I didn't even go get an attorney. I went straight to the courthouse and read and did all the paperwork and books myself, because I had to escape that. But again, was it her fault? No. I married her because I was unguarded. I let her put me through what she put me through because I was unguarded. You can't keep on blaming people. You can't keep on blaming family and relationships and friends and people that broke you because you went in unguarded. The blame game, listen, if you're ever going to be free, if you're ever going to walk into your greatest potential, if you're ever going to become what you need to become in life, it's going to be because you stop the blame game. You stop the blame game. And you take responsibility for the days you walked around completely unguarded. Let me see. Now, ladies, I want y'all to talk to me because Ron made a strong point here. A lot of times, what I really want is a tight hug, a back rub, and feel reciprocity. A lot of effort is left on men, and women get to decide whether they want to participate. Ladies, now and listen, Ron, I agree with you. I agree that there are some women who will decide whether they will participate in love when it's a must for us. I that you know I was thinking about writing a book. It might not come out till 2027, 2028 because it's a really deep concept. But I was thinking about writing a book about the inequality, the emotional inequality. That's what I was going to call the book, emotional inequality. Because I'm going to tell you something, Ron. I'm going to tell you something, ladies. And this is the thing. I'm not blaming you, ladies. I'm not coming down on you, ladies. That's why we're having a conversation. I think there are a lot of times where the only emotions that are paid attention to in a relationship are the woman's emotions. I think a lot of times because women are not taught that men have emotions. See, this is the thing I want to address, Ron. A lot of women are not even taught that men have emotions. So they never, ever consider a man's emotions. It becomes about how they feel and you meeting that need and you being there for them in that need. A lot of women aren't taught that men have emotions. I watched my mother and father go through that, right? My mom a lot of times acted as if my dad didn't have emotions, right? So a lot of times we get to talking about our pain and the woman's like, oh. But when a woman's talking, she wants your full attention. She wants you staring her in her eyes. You understand? But that's why a lot of you gentlemen, we need to guard our heart. Because the question is, why are we with a woman who don't give a damn about us? Let me see. Londa Smith. No, sir, not me. I want a man to be a man. I don't respect men I can control. Look, of course, you listen. You see the key word. No, sir, not me. But I want you ladies to know this a lot of times when we have conversations like this, a lot of you ladies like to jump to what you. But there's a lot of women who enjoy a weak man, right? And the reason, again, is not because she's a bad woman. It comes out of being broken. Where now, if a man who I loved him so much, I felt out of control, a lot of women will decide I'll never be in that place again where I'm out of control. So if I want to be with somebody, I'm going to be with somebody where I can control the emotional ups and downs of the relationship because I'll never be in a situation where I get broken like that again. A lot of women do that. And I'm glad you don't. Yolanda, I'm glad you're over that. But a lot of women are stuck right there in that situation. Let's get back into it, okay? So guarding your heart protects your identity. Right? So that everybody who comes in your life can't redefine you. See, this is the thing. There's a lot of people that will come in your life to redefine you or try to shape shift you into what they want. And again, we're not just talking about relationships or intimate relationships. A lot of times these are family relationships. There are people that will come into your life and try to shape shift you into what they need you to be. If you have an unguarded heart, you'll become what they need you to be. And this is the scary part about it. You'll become what they need you to be, and then when you're with the next person, you'll become what they need you to be, and you'll become what they need you to be. And after a while, you'll look up and you lose 20 years saying, "Well, when was I me?" And that's the question I want to drop on y'all this morning. When was the last time you were you? Sometimes you don't even know, because again, when you go to try to please to keep people around, doesn't mean they'll stay. And the only thing you'll lose is your mind. And the only thing you'll lose is your identity. Because you became this exotic person for them, and you became a rich guy for them, and you spent all your money on her for this, and then you changed your hair for him, and then you went and bought this car to impress her, and you went and got a second job to impress him, and you did this and you did that, and all the things we do. When was the last time you were in touch with you? Because the issue is it's an unguarded heart, y'all. The unguarded heart. Let me get into this because I made it's a chart that I want to share with y'all. I want to talk about the duality of the unguarded heart. Let's talk about where's these balloons coming from? Goodness gracious. Point number one. Let's talk about this unguarded heart. The unguarded heart. Number one, the guarded heart versus the unguarded heart. Let's talk about point number one. The guarded heart is disciplined. The unguarded heart is reckless. The guarded heart is disciplined. The unguarded heart is reckless. The guarded heart sets boundaries to protect its values. The unguarded heart is influenced and impulsive, and it does what people need. It doesn't consider itself. Right? Number 2, the guarded heart is purpose-driven. The unguarded heart is directionless. Right? The guarded heart is purpose-driven. That means its focus is on long-term. It's not sucked into how I feel today. The guarded heart thinks of long-term. The unguarded heart only thinks of right now. How do I feel right now? See, you know what happens? You know why a lot of y'all go through so many breakups and you keep on switching people? It's because you have an unguarded heart. You're looking for this magical moment feeling. Right? Again, the guarded heart realizes I have to build step at a time so I have something long-term in process. The unguarded heart just says, make me feel better, bro. Make me feel better. The problem is you do feel better, but it's like a high. You go up and come down. And I think a lot of us can't build solid relationships because we're not looking for love. We're looking for high. And if the high don't keep you high, then you're gonna switch to something else. You see, it's like rug use. You understand? It's like D-rug use. I can't say the words on YouTube, right? It's like D-rug use, right? You're chasing a high. You got to admit that there's sometimes you're in a situation where you're not looking for a relationship. When you're unguarded, you're not looking for a relationship. You're looking for a quick high. And then when that relationship gets rocky, whether it's friendship, whether it's family, whether it's romantic, you switch on to something else, not because you didn't love the person, because you don't have the stick-to-itiveness to stay with an unguarded heart. You're looking to feel. You're not looking to build. The danger of an unguarded heart. It's dangerous to walk around with an unguarded heart. Number 3, the unguarded heart is emotionally stable. The unguarded heart is emotionally reactive. Let me get in the chat. Let me see who's in the building. Let me see. Maxine Hobson, this is good. Thank you so much, my sister. And thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I really appreciate you. That's my dear sister. Many years. You're such a special person. Let me see. Jess Clark, you agree? Absolutely. Let's get into it. My man Taj Mahal in the building. Bless you, my brother. And I want to say this while Taj Mahal is in the building. He's on Facebook. A lot of you sisters who have young sons, if you're in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware area, check out Taj Mahal on Facebook. He has a great program for young men. All right, check him out. I love you too, Maxine. I love you too. I love you so much. Let me see. All right. Okay. So number 3, be intentional about what you let in your life. Be more intentional about who and what you let in your life. Right? I know you're a giver. I know you have a big heart. I know you want to love everybody. I know. I'm just like you. I want to love. I want to give. I want everybody to be happy. Butterflies, candy drops, and water ices. But guess what? With all your fantasy of love, you better have a better guarded heart because people ain't going to love you like you love you. Right? And then everybody's definition of what love looks like is different too. Right? I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and a woman, the comedian, Miss Pat. Miss Pat said, hilarious woman. She was on Club Shay Shay, and she said, you know what? She said one time her boyfriend she was with punched her right here in the middle of the eyes and blacked both of her eyes. And she sat back and said, well, at least he loved me. And I looked at the screen, and she said, because my mama taught me that if a man don't beat you, he don't love you. You see what the unguarded heart will do, right? The unguarded heart will justify tragedy, right? And listen, that's her story. But some of you are saying, I would never allow a man to do that. You might not allow a man to hit you, but what have you allowed a man to do? See, don't jump off on other people's stories. A lot of times we do that as humans. Right? We do that as humans. And the same thing for some of you men. Right. Some of us have been taught the wrong definition of what love is. We've been taught it wrong. A man who's walking around hitting people and yelling and screaming, he has an unguarded heart. You know, a violent man is a scared man. A violent man is a scared man. And when a man puts his hands on a woman or a child, what he's actually doing is beating himself. He feels like trash. And the only way to get it out is to beat something. He can't beat himself, so he beats the people around him. What he's doing to people is how he feels about himself. You have to escape somebody like that. Yeah. The unguarded heart will make you make sense of something that has no sense to it at all. So be intentional about who you're letting in your life. Why wouldn't you be? Listen, your heart is the gateway to your life. Someone can be in your presence, but the heart way is the gateway to your life. There's a difference between letting somebody be around you and letting somebody be a part of your life. The heart is the gateway. You got to control that gateway. Some of us have a broken door right here. You don't have no window. You don't have no screen door. You don't have nothing. Everybody who just makes you feel good for a moment, you let them right in. No, you have to pay attention to who you let in your life, especially at certain times. Right? And I know automatically our mind says, well, you know, I got to stop, not let the dangerous people in. But let me tell you something. What if you're the dangerous person? See, what if you're the dangerous person? Are you going to guard yourself enough to know, let me not bring somebody into my life that I'll hurt? Oh, come on. Because we can go hours talking about who we won't let in, who's so bad. But what if you're too broken to have somebody in? Do you love them and love yourself enough to say, you know what? I'm not ready for this kind of love. I'll break you. Right? Why? Because the heart is shaped by what you consume. The heart is shaped by what you consume. So whatever you consume, whatever words you let in here, whatever you consume, especially as a woman, right? I always teach you, for you ladies on here, you ladies have two wombs. One in one lower body, one in the head. Right? Whatever seed you take here, you'll let germinate here. You'll birth it out of your mouth. That's why you got to watch what you allow in your ear gate. Ladies and gentlemen, watch what you allow in your ear gate, because your mind will begin to put form on what you let here. That's why a lot of you are 25, 26, 27, 32, 42, and you still remember what somebody said at 12 that broke you. The ear gate must be guarded, because the unguarded heart will allow any words in, and they'll stick with you for years. Here you are, somebody says something to you at 16 and you're 50 still carrying that. For all you that just coming in, thank you so much for coming in the room, y'all. We're streaming live again on the Dear Sister podcast and the Dear Brother podcast. This morning's topic about guarding your heart, I thought was good for both audiences. So we're streaming live on both audiences right now, okay? Tomorrow is Relationship Friday. Let me just take this pause right quick. Tomorrow is Relationship Friday. So if any of you have a topic that you think that we should talk about for Relationship Friday tomorrow, put it in the chat. I'll write it down and start developing teaching on that, all right? So let me also take this pause. Where are my books? They disappeared. Okay, let me see. Go on. Where are my books? All right, gentlemen. Visit Amazon right now. Get my new book called Home Where Hurt Men Heal. All right. I'm telling you, it's helping men everywhere. I had 4 teenage boys buy this book. I was teaching last week. Had 4 teenage boys buy this book last week. Go on Amazon.com right now, y'all. Get Home Where Hurt Men Heal. All right, go get it, brothers. For you sisters, I have the Soul of Sarah. I can't put. Here it is. The Soul of Sarah. Go on Amazon.com right now, ladies. The Soul of Sarah is available to you right now. Go get my new book, The Soul of Sarah. I wrote this book to ladies. After I eulogized my mother, God gave me a great revelation about the value of the woman's soul. And he told me, go remind women from a man's point of view how valuable they are. Go get my book, The Soul of Sarah, right now. For some of you couples, go buy both of them. They're available right now, Amazon.com. Go get these books, Home Where Hurt Men Heal. All right. And also For some of you interested, this is on Amazon.com as well. I left church to serve God. This is my life story from 14 to 41. All right, my ministry life story, everything I went through as a 14-year-old boy traveling the country, preaching and teaching. Go get this book right now. It's on Amazon.com. It's available to you. Go get it. All right. All right, let me see who's in the chat. Thank you for listening to my commercial break, everybody. Also, go visit my website. For some of you that need one-on-one coaching, it's donation-based coaching, okay? Donation-based coaching. I don't charge, right? Because there's some people who just don't have it that need help. All right. For some of you that do have it, you can go and you can be a blessing so I can give that service to other people. Go christianwinners.com. I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coaching. And I also come out to speak. So you can book me to speak on there and you can set up coaching on there too as well. All right. Let me see who's in the chat. Let me see. Okay. CJ, let's see. All right. When I went to therapy after my divorce, I realized and took accountability for the type of woman I was. You know what? Before I even read the second sentence, let me take this down. CJ, what we do around these parts is we pause to clap up vulnerability and bravery. Before I even read the second sentence of your point, clap up your vulnerability and bravery right now, sis. You applaud yourself because, listen, vulnerability is something people don't do in this world today. When I see it, I honor it. When I went to therapy after my divorce, I realized and took accountability for the type of woman I was when I got with my ex-husband. I had to evaluate the woman CJ was back then. And I was desperate and put my desire for need above my own well-being. Yes, we do that. We do that to ourselves. And this is the thing. You assessed you. It will be easy to assess your ex, but you assessed you. See, that's what the guarded heart is. You move from an unguarded heart to a guarded heart, not by assessing everybody else. You assess you. If you want to move from unguarded to guarded, you have to assess you, not everybody else. Because when you walk in with unguarded heart, you're available to be broken. You're available to be abused. You're available to be neglected. You're available to be cussed out. You understand? You become the pincushion for somebody else's pain because you walk around unguarded. So all of us have a story of what somebody done to us. Every one of us have a story about what somebody done to us. But at the same time, you have to admit the times you came in unguarded and brought that chaos to yourself. We got to shift from an unguarded heart to a guarded heart. And how do I do that? I got to sit back and I got to look at myself, not at everybody else. I got to look at me. Brilliant, CJ. Brilliant and brave. Thank you for sharing, my sister. Maxine Hobson, absolutely. Let me see. Ron McGee in the building. Be intentional about who you let in your life. Yes. I could drop the mic right there. Absolutely. You have to be intentional about who you let in your life, especially those of you who have children, right? Those of you who have children, you're raising your children. You got to pay attention to who you bring in your life. You got to guard, right? You got to guard. Be intentional. What are they bringing you? That's the question you got to ask yourself. What is this person bringing you? And what are you bringing? See, everybody's talking about these tables, what you bring to the table. That's one of the stupidest conversations I ever heard in my life. You got two people who both got nothing talking about what you're going to bring to my table. And this is the question. Well, if you're so worried about what somebody's bringing to your table, I wonder if you have a table. See, this is the thing. This conversation about what you're going to bring to the table, do you even have a table? You got two people who both don't have a table talking about what you're going to bring to the table. Well, if I did bring it, what the hell am I going to put it on? You don't even have a table. Right? You got two unguarded people talking about what you bring to the table. That's what it is. A lot of people two people unguarded, you both are bringing destruction to the table. It's going to be destroyed. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. Wake up. Let me see. You just made a good point about comedians. Unguarded heart will teach bad behavior. Absolutely. And justify it. Taj in the building. God showed me something years ago. Imagine showing up for yourself. The way you show up for others. It's easy to put yourself on the back burner for others, but never put others in the back burner for yourself. How you love yourself actually. Let me read the rest down here. How you love yourself actually shows others how to love you. Absolutely. And you can't be mad when others neglect you when you neglect yourself. 100%. We all have somebody to blame. But I want to bring to you today, perhaps it's you who haven't assessed whether your heart is guarded or unguarded. Let me see. Yolanda Smith. All right. Yes, I agree. There are some women that are like that, Ron. But also there are women that cater to their men. The mothers years ago taught us to be there for our men in every area of our lives. And let's talk about that for a second, Yolanda. Great point. I don't think we have the teachers we used to have about love, commitment, sacrifice. Right? Here it is. The mothers years ago taught us to be. See, this is the problem, y'all. The problem with relationship, family, intimate, friendship, whatever relationship it is, we don't have wise counsel anymore about what love means. Everybody's just making up what they believe it is. People are making up what they believe love is now. There's not a lot of wise counsel. We lack fathers. That's why I started the Dear Brother podcast, right? Because men lack sober voice from other men, right? We're getting wisdom from people who've made a mess of their lives, right? And then this is another thing. The mothers are getting younger now, right? Y'all remember Big Mama? Big Mama had the house coat on. Big Mama would slide around in her slippers. Big Mama had wisdom, right? Y'all remember Grandpop? Grandpop would sit in that chair, drink his Pepsi or whatever he drank, and all he wanted to do was watch a Western, but Grandpop had wisdom. Those people, we don't have them anymore, right? The grandmothers are getting younger. The mothers are getting younger. There's less wisdom going out. And this is why everybody's a victim now, because no one's teaching people how to confront themselves. Y'all know grandmom and them. You can come to them with a story. They say, well, what you do? Well, how you feel about that? They always made you point back to yourself. Now we live in a soft age where everybody's hurt and everybody's broken and everybody else's fault. Why? There's no generation now who is speaking to us directly and saying, what is it in you? How did you allow that? Because you can't blame everybody because you let those people in your house. Why would you let a wolf in your house? You understand? You know why we let wolves in our house? Because we were lonely. And now you got a baby by that wolf. Oh, this man is crazy. Let me see. Yes, wise counsel. Yes. Let me see. Oh, goodness. Y'all talking in here. Y'all talking. Okay. All right, Max Hobson. Your heart is the door to whether you live or die. Absolutely. That you got to guard your heart above all things. Let me see. Brother, my man Dashel in the building. I closed my church because I know how to do church, but I didn't know how to be married. Had to learn who I was, the damage I caused. Come on, y'all. Put some claps in the chat. Come on, this is another brave, vulnerable man. Just like earlier, when we clapped up the sister Yolanda for being honest. I'm clapping you up, Alfonso. I closed my church because I knew how to do church, but I didn't know how to be married. See, that's another thing we don't teach, right? We say, and I'll say this, in churches, you know what we tell everybody? Your marriage is your first ministry. Your marriage is your first ministry. Your marriage is your first ministry. It sounds good to say over a microphone and everybody say amen, but you got 60% divorce rate in church. You know why? Dashel, let me bring you back up because I'm going to say something to you. I closed my church because I knew how to do church, but I didn't know how to be married. I had to learn who I was. And okay, Dashel, you're a pastor, so you'll understand this. In the book of Genesis, and I want to say this to everybody. In the book of Genesis, there was no church. There was no government. There was no presidency. There was no Senate. There was no house. There was no church. There was no religious organization in the Garden of Gethsemane, nor was there any government. You know why? Because the family is the greatest entity that can ever exist. Not a church, not a mosque, not a synagogue, not a government. The family is the strongest entity that can ever exist. And I believe that the church is a result. The church, that's why we call people church family. No. See, we trade in our family for church family. You know how many families were broken because of broken religious teaching? I'm going to throw this in and I'm going to lose all y'all now. I don't believe that there's such thing as spiritual mothers and fathers. You don't see it in the scripture. There were priests that people brought their child to raise, but that doesn't make them your spiritual mothers. There's no such thing as spiritual mothers and fathers. That's because that's called manipulation. That there are some people that have purpose on their own last name. There are people that have purpose to fix their families. There's people that have purpose. They're broken families and they're running to their church family. No, as a pastor, you should lead people back to their family. That's why you have pastors in churches, and I can't stand to see it, that will take more attention from a wife. You tell that wife, go home and take care of your husband. You baking all these pies to bring to the church, you frying chicken to bring to the church. Go home and feed your husband. Because there was no church, no masjid, no synagogue in the Garden of Gethsemane. Because the strongest entity is a family. Dashel, I applaud you, bro. I applaud you. Same thing for me. As I was running around the world, my kids was growing up. I remember sitting with them with a map saying, this is where daddy going today. Daddy going to Africa today. Okay, we put a string. Daddy going to Israel today. Daddy going to Australia tomorrow. Look, I'll be back in 2 weeks, right? And I had to do it. I was full time. That's how I took care of my family. But you know what I realized? In all that ministry I did, I can't stand the moments I missed with my family. The moments, right? And then I have a little girl, she's 7. You know what it makes me remember? It makes me remember all the time, or all this other stuff I might have missed with my bigger kids because I was serving people. The greatest entity is the family, bro. The greatest entity is the family. Let me see. What you don't guard will guard you. Ooh, Maxine. Woo wee. What you don't guard will guard you 100%. Martin, you love Brian Martin. Bless you. My brother from Baltimore. Yeah, man. Yeah. This table, everybody talking about a table. Y'all crazy. Y'all laughing at this table. Good morning, Kia Everett. Good morning, my sister. And thank God for all the work you do, sister. I honor you. Let me see. That part. Yes, wise counsel is missing. Wise counsel is missing. You know why wise counsel is missing, y'all? Right? Because we don't want to be vulnerable enough to say what we done. That's why. And because I'm I believe in Jesus Christ, the revolutionary. I can only talk about the church aspect. But yes, I think there's not a lot of wise counsel going on. Right? We want people to be stuff that we don't teach them how to be. Let me see. Heart guarded, I'm guarded. Absolutely. Right? But understand this. I want to say this about the guarded heart. The guarded heart doesn't mean I live in a bubble where nobody can get in. Because this is the danger. The danger of creating a bubble where nobody can get in is you can't get out. That's the danger of a bubble. So guarded doesn't mean that no one can ever get to me again. Guarded means I'm more aware of who you are before you get to me. Let me see. Absolutely. The family, Max. We ain't paid enough attention to the family. Oh, Lord. I'm the trouble man. Let me see. I understand that, Yolanda, People's perception is their reality, And if what you're exposed to on a regular basis is selfishness, divisiveness, and that's the manner in which you'll move. Absolutely. Love looks like selfishness to some people. Right? See, when I was married, if I could just slow down and see, some people don't even have the basis of what love is, right? My marriage, love was about what I was going to give, right? I remember my ex said to me, why don't you do for me what you do for the people at the church? In that moment, I realized, oh, you didn't want a husband. You wanted a pastor, right? Those people at the church take from me as they should. I'm their shepherd. Give them. But a wife is not there to take from me. She wanted me to be her pastor. She didn't want a husband. Let me see. Wow, that's absolutely, Dashel. Absolutely. And guess what, brother? We can only have strong churches if we have strong families. A lot of these churches are falling apart because there's no strong families in there. Because we don't teach family. We teach, I'm your spiritual pappy. I'm your spiritual mother. No, your mother's still alive. She dying with cancer while you bringing me juice. That's trash. I ain't scared of nobody ever. I've been through too much to be scared. Somebody needs to speak truth out here. Nobody's speaking truth. Everybody's scared to speak truth. I'm not scared to speak truth. And a lot of you pastors are scared to speak truth because you're scared you're going to lose your church. I gave mine away. Heal the family. Absolutely. Good morning, Jeremiah Gregg. I love you, my brother. Let me see. I had to learn not to take care of home and neglect family for church. Absolutely. What are we doing? You done clean the church and you ain't clean your house. Not you, Charlotte. I'm just talking. Right? There's people that clean the church and clean their house. You cook the cake for the pastor and make one for your husband. Same thing with you brothers. A lot of you brothers lose your marriage because you didn't date your wife. You took your wife to church every week. You know, that's why a lot of you brothers, a lot of you church brothers, you lost your wife. You ain't took her out on a date. You ain't smacked her on the behind. You ain't French kissed your wife in 10 years, but you at the church. You shouting and screaming and running. She see all your energy at your church. She don't see no energy in the house. You got the energy to shout, yell, and jump and run and roll on the floor at church, but you ain't laid down and had sex with your wife in 3-4 weeks, 3-4-5 months. You ain't touched your wife in a year, but she see you jumping up and down on the podium. You wonder why your family broken? You wonder why your wife ain't happy? Because you giving out more to some spiritual house than you are the house that God built for you. The house that God built for you was your family. That house you go to is supposed to teach you how to raise your family. You're not supposed to be a prisoner of a church. The church is a gas station. Fill you up to fill everything else. It's not a place you give your whole soul to. You give your soul to God. You give your mind to church. Let me see. I ain't going. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, ministry starts at home. That was God's plan, y'all. Let me see. But again, the unguarded heart don't see it that way. The unguarded heart, that's why a lot of people get manipulated in spiritual places, because they walk in churches with unguarded hearts. Let me see. I will not follow a leader that doesn't lead at home first. Absolutely. The problem is sometimes you never know that. You never know that. You'll never know that. Right? But I agree. Right? I agree. And it's not talking about perfect. But if you haven't raised your kids, and come on, I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole. I just said that the other day. We have to teach people how to be matriarchs and patriarchs. It's more than just age. Absolutely. The world needs fathers now. The world needs mothers now. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Let me see. I'm trying, CJ. I'm trying to get it in this morning. Let me see. My mom and dad always taught us to take care of home and the family first, because that is it. That is it. All right. All right. So we're talking about the unguarded heart this morning. We're talking about how to guard your heart this morning. All right. So number 3 we left off is be intentional about who you let in your life. Right. Be like, and it's not only who you let in your life, it's what you let in your life. You know how many people are messed up by media, messed up by social media? Come on. You know, it breaks my heart. See, I'm not worried about going viral on here. I'm worried about saving people's lives. You understand? I watch shows and YouTube channels go viral and stuff all the time because they spew a bunch of nonsense that attracts desperate, unguarded people. Right? Part of the reason I came on social media is because of what I see on social media. I see a whole bunch of unguarded hearts being tossed to and fro by wisdom, by bad teaching from people who have broken hearts, right? Teaching people and people who have no experience. Social media has messed up a lot of people. Social media has messed up a lot of people. It's messed up a lot of relationships. It's bad philosophy taught by people unguarded themselves. Right? So you got to watch, and you got to flee quickly from when something's from what you allow in your mind. What you allow in your mind, it starts to determine your decisions, ladies and gentlemen. And you got to be guarded from that. Number 4, your actions reflect the condition of your heart. Right? Your actions show the condition of your heart. The guarded heart produces integrity and strength even in rough times. The unguarded heart is reckless, and if it's hurt, it's gonna hurt you. That's where narcissism is born from. And I don't even like to use that word. I think it's been overused because a lot of y'all call people narcissists who don't agree with you. No, that's not a narcissist. That's just a difference of opinion. A narcissist is a person who comes in your life and their whole goal is to suck every bit of energy out of you and then use you as like a cat would play with a mouse as a toy. That's a narcissist. I was married to a narcissist. I know what a narcissist is. A narcissist try to kill you after you're dead. And you know what a narcissist wants? A narcissist never wants to see you rise again. A narcissist gets upset after they couldn't kill you. That's why you got to guard your heart. And I experienced everything I experienced because I didn't have a guarded heart. I can't blame her. She is who she is. She's going to be who she's going to be. Your ex is going to be who they are. Question is you. Why didn't you guard your heart? Guard your heart in every situation. Again, friendship, intimate relationship, spiritualism. You better guard your heart because from it flows everything. Number 5, guarding your heart requires discipline. Guarding your heart requires discipline. Right? It isn't passive. It's an active process to guard your heart. Your heart doesn't guard itself. You have to guard your heart. You know, the best way to guard your heart is self-reflection. Look at you. Look at you. Why do you think in the scripture David say, observe me, look at me, search me, see if there's anything. See, David was so messed up in the scriptures, right? He was a freak-a-leak. King David was a freak-a-leak. You ever read your Bible? King David was a freak-a-leak. He was. He knew his problems. That's why he lifted his hands one day and said, yo, if you see anything in me, search me and know me. See if there's any wicked way in me. He wasn't blaming everybody else. He realized that as a king, in order to be a good king over Israel at the time, he had to have a guarded heart. He was too reckless. Have you ever been too reckless? Let me see. All right, I'm going to throw up here a Dear Brotherly Advice. Dear Brotherly Advice. Let's get it in. Again, we're podcasting live on the Dear Brother podcast and the Dear Sister podcast. Dear sisters, this is what you'll see right now. This is what you should be saying. I'm doing Dear Brotherly Advice and Dear Sisterly Advice right now, okay? So if you need advice or anything, drop it in the chat. And before I end the show, I will give you advice. This is Dear Brother and Dear Sisterly Advice time, all right? And I want to spend some time answering some questions, talking out some points. So y'all go ahead, put your points in the podcast, in the chat, put your questions in the chat, and let's talk. Let's talk. I'm done with my points today. I'm done with everything I wanted to get out, but I want to go into now. This is Dear Brotherly Advice and Dear Sisterly Advice. This is the time I spend with you to give you the best answers I can. All right, let me see. Yes, Aaron, David was a freak-a-leak, man. David was freak-a-leak. He was. That's my man, Aaron. I love you, brother. David was a freak-a-leak, man. It was proof. It was proof. Let me see. Oh, y'all done talks about, okay. Y'all got so much in here right now. Okay. Ministry start. Okay. Just a little, okay. Okay. Let me see. I don't want to miss any of the things. Okay. Let me see. Aaron Hannah, your actions show the condition. Absolutely. See, that's for all the people who say, I'm not like that. Yes, you are. See, the unguarded heart never wants to admit it did what it did. The guarded heart will repent. The unguarded heart say, I ain't got nothing for you. See, there's some people you know who they ain't never, look, man, they ain't never fessing up to nothing. They ain't never dealing with nothing. They never admitting nothing. That's the unguarded heart. The unguarded heart will justify the most negative behaviors. It will. That's what the unguarded heart does. And it won't ever take responsibility for its actions. There are some people who will never take responsibility. They will watch you break down before they'll take responsibility for what they did. Your actions show the condition of your heart. And guess what? Sometimes you got to admit that you are who you are. You did what you did. There's no way to get through something when you don't admit that's where you were. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Y'all hear what I'm saying? Hey, go over to all y'all people, all my good folks that's on Facebook. Please go over to YouTube, go over to the Dear Brother Podcast or the Dear Sister Podcast, y'all. All right, I'm not gonna cut this off, but I want y'all to go over to YouTube. That way, let me see. CJ, thank you for this topic today. I appreciate you, my sister. Listen, I come down here about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I sit and I let God tell me what the podcast about. Yes, thank you so much, sister. I really appreciate you. Listen, there would be no podcast without y'all subscribing. Thank y'all for subscribing and being a part of what I'm doing. Let me see. Absolutely, look at yourself. That's the trick of the enemy, to make you look around. Didn't he do it? He did it to Adam in the Garden of Eden, ladies and gentlemen. Right? When God said, Adam, where are you? What did he say? Right? He started to look around. He said, where are you? He wasn't talking about Adam's physical place. Where are you? What do you think about you? That's the question. That's what God was really asking Adam. And I believe that's what God is asking many of you right now. And I know everybody on here don't believe in God, but I still do. Right? And that's okay. I'm not knocking if you don't. But at the end of the day, that's the question God is asking. How do you see you? What do you feel about you right now? That's the question we all must confront. What do you think about you? Who gives a damn about what everybody else thinks about you? Everybody else can think you're a hero. What do you think about you? That's why a lot of the most greatest people in the world, they wind up taking themselves off the planet. And people say, oh my God, what? No, that's because, no, so what? You're a giver and you're an educator and you're a great wife and you're a great husband. The question is, how do you feel about you? Because you can do all these things and have self-hate in where? Your unguarded heart. Y'all understand what I'm saying? The unguarded heart is dangerous. So how do I start guarding it? Look at myself. Look at my decisions. Look at what I'm doing. Look at how I'm treating me. What am I doing to me? Self-reflection. Adam wanted to look around. It was the wife you gave me. It was No, bro, how do you feel about you? Where are you? I believe. Now I know that there's going to be some very deep, profound biblical scholars that's going to say no, but guess what, bro? I don't care. I'm feeding people right now. I believe the real question was not, Adam, where you, first of all, the question couldn't be, where are you as far as space? God sees everything. God was probably looking he was looking dead at Adam when he said, where are you? So it's not location. I believe he was trying to get Adam to stop running around looking for leaves to cover himself and look at himself. And I'm pushing some of you this morning. Stop running around looking for a relationship to help you see you. Stop running around looking for another job to help you see you. Stop trying to launch your 8th business to see you, right? No, sometimes you got to stop all the mess, all the chaos, all the expectations, and you got to look at you for who you are, even if it's messed up. You got to do it. You got to do it. You have to do it. The YouTube, my brother Aaron, the YouTube is the Dear Brother Podcast, okay? And for you ladies, the YouTube is the Dear Sister Podcast, all right? We're streaming live from both of them today, the Dear Sister Podcast and the Dear Brother Podcast. You can go over to YouTube right now and go to the Dear Brother Podcast, brothers. And for you sisters, go to the Dear Sister Podcast, and we are running live right now. Let me see. Aaron Han, I love you too, my man. You're my guy. Doing great work in Baltimore. Beautiful work in Baltimore. Let me see. Ron McGee. I know some people that struggle with accountability, for the way they are, no matter how people see it or say it. Let me say this to you. People who want to take accountability for who they are, they know exactly who they are, right? They know who they are. People like that, you got to stay away from. I'll be honest with you. People like that, you got to stay away from, Ron. People who won't take accountability, the dangerous thing about people who won't take accountability is they know what they're doing. That's what makes it worse. Like a kid might not know, the kid might not take accountability because they don't know the impact of what they're doing. There are some people that know exactly what they're doing. They know the impact of what they're doing. They know how to break people around them. And that's the person you stay away from. Listen, it's all love out here, but a guarded heart teaches you who to stay away from. I can love you from across the country. You understand? I can love you from across the country. I don't have to invite you in my life, and I don't have to be broken for you to be happy. Because there are a lot of people that benefit from your brokenness. There's a lot of people that will walk, the bridge to their next space is a broken you. Woo! There are some people that their bridge to the next space in their life is a broken you. They're going to walk on your bones to get where they got to go. You better get up off that damn ground because they don't care about you. You're just a bridge. You got to know. See, the unguarded heart don't let you see that you're a bridge. There's some of you that know somebody flat out using you, and your unguarded heart is saying, oh, no, I'm just helping them. Yes, you're helping them hurt you. Taj Mahal, I learned to guard my heart, bro. And take it, and to take it personal when you set boundaries and standards for yourselves. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't let nobody, when you build boundaries, you don't build doors. Woo! Listen, y'all hear me? When you build a boundary, there's no door in your boundary. Boundaries have no doors. When you find someone that loves you, honors your boundary, whether that's friends, family, what that person does is they are patient enough to sit back right with your boundary. Let me tell y'all something, gentlemen out there, listen to me. If you like a girl, you love a girl a whole lot, and you want to be with her, and she got boundaries, don't take them down. Don't try to take them down. Leave them there. I'm gonna give y'all some tips. Dear brotherly advice. If you meet a woman you really love that has a strong boundary, right? Don't talk her out of it. Leave it there. Even if you ain't the same guy that she was with, and all, there's a reason why she got that boundary. You know what you do? You leave the boundary there. Don't talk to her about it, nothing. You be consistent. You stay in her presence. You stay right there. After a while, she's going to take that boundary down for you. And that's when you'll have a loving relationship, because she'll always look at you and say, he never tried to take my boundary down. He never tried. He stood there. He loved me with it. And she took it down for you. A woman will love you forever if you allow her to take her boundary down, because she values you that much. Just giving y'all some free game. Let me see. Jeremiah Gregg, Adam's heart severed itself, from God's heart, Adam, where are you? Your silence is too loud. Absolutely. El Boog, let me see. Witness, shake my head, but help me to learn how to guard my heart, Won't be a bridge again. Yes, you won't be able. You can't sit there and be a bridge for somebody else's pain. Absolutely. Let me see. The one that tells you no because of her boundaries is the keeper. Absolutely. Y'all hear that, gentlemen? The woman who has boundaries is the one you want to be with. Okay? Let me see. So let me go through this chart one more time. Again, dear brother and dear sister, the advice is up. If anybody needs it, and put it up. So we're dear brother, the advice right now. Okay. And we're also doing dear sister, the advice. So you can, with any questions you have, put it in the chat right now. Any relationship questions, any family questions. Hey, Christian, how do I deal with this? How should I be perceiving this? What does this look like? Hey, if you're on YouTube right now, hit the like button. Hit the like button, everybody. Hit that like button on YouTube. It tells people we have a dope show. All right. And if you enjoy what we do, share the show. Share the show with some people you think can grow from it too. All right. All right. So we're in the advice time of our show. Throw your advice in, and we'll get to it. And while y'all are typing your questions in for the advice, let me go through this one more time because I want y'all to see it. All right. I put some notes, the guarded heart versus the unguarded heart. I want y'all to see what that is. All right. The unguarded heart. Okay. The guarded heart is disciplined, maintains boundaries to protect values. Okay. The unguarded heart is reckless. The guarded heart is purpose-driven. The unguarded heart is directionless. The guarded heart is emotionally stable. The unguarded heart is emotionally reactive. The guarded heart is selective in relationships. The unguarded heart enjoys toxic relationships. The guarded heart enjoys peace. The unguarded heart enjoys chaos. Shall we go through them again? These are my notes I put in my phone for y'all this morning. The guarded heart is disciplined. The unguarded heart is reckless. The guarded heart is purpose driven. The unguarded heart is directionless. The guarded heart is emotionally stable. The unguarded heart is emotionally reactive. The guarded heart is selective in relationships. The unguarded heart enjoys toxic relationships. The guarded heart is peaceful. The unguarded heart is chaotic. And guess what? I don't want any of y'all on here to get cute talking about, oh, yeah, them unguarded heart. All of us at some point or another have walked around with an unguarded heart. Let me see who's in the chat. Adrienne Robinson. Good morning, my sister. Good morning. Thank you for coming on this morning, sister. Thank you for coming on. I love you so much. All right. All right. So I know there's a delay between you and between us. It's about 10-second delay. I don't want to miss anybody's advice before we go. All right. I don't want to miss anybody's any advice before we go. Sometimes I jump over here and I look back at the chat and there was people who needed advice. All right. So let me see. Okay. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning. Thank you for hanging out with me. We stream live from the Dear Sister podcast and Dear Brother podcast. Everybody on Facebook, go to YouTube. If you're not on any of my YouTube podcasts, go on my YouTube right now. Join the Dear Brother podcast or the Dear Sister podcast. I also run a third podcast called the Christian Activist podcast. All of them are running on YouTube right now. The Dear Brother podcast, the Dear Sister podcast, and the Christian Activist podcast. All right. And for the work that I do here, guys, this work costs me. And it costs me. And if you believe in the show and you believe in what we're doing and pushing us to the next level, right there at the bottom of the screen, you see the my Cash App and my Venmo. If you value this show today and you learn something from it, be a blessing. Be a blessing because it allows me to keep on doing shows. It allows me to push this to the next level. All right. I'll be putting out an ebook. Maybe today or tomorrow on my website, christianwinners.com. You can visit christianwinners.com right now for some of you that need one-on-one coaching, ladies or gentlemen. You can go on my website right now, christianwinners.com. You can set up a coaching session. My coaching sessions are donation based, okay? Because everybody can't afford it, right? And for some of you that can afford it, then what you do is you give, and it allows me to be a blessing to people who can't give. All right. So if you ever, and I also do group coaching. All right. I'll come to your church, your masjid, your synagogue. I'll come to the trap, right, to do some group coaching with you gentlemen. All right. So book me. Go on there and book me. If you want me to come speak at your seminar, at your, in fact, I've been getting booked for women's conferences lately. It's been fun. All right. If you want to book me to come, then I will come. All right. To speak. All right, to you all. But thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me today. I want to say this to you. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen, and say it with me. Some of y'all who've been with the show every day, y'all know. Say it with me. Yesterday is history, and tomorrow is a mystery. All we got is right now. What you gonna do with it? What you gonna do about it? Hey, yo, no fear, no shame, no compromise. Hey, I love you. Have a brilliant day because you're a brilliant person.